Alright, so in this video I want to show a 4-2 Blitz game, 60 move game, bit of a long one, that I played against a friend of mine that it has a couple elements that I think are really important, and I just wanted to go through the game and point out my thoughts on it, and maybe you can learn something from this game. So I open with b3. It's kind of my cheeky pet system to get a bishop here, play moves like e3, knight f3, and just control the dark squares. That's one of the main ideas, and it's not the strongest move for sure, but it gets out of book opening theories, and it allows for some more fun, different types of games. And if you feel like it, you can also put the bishop here and trade off. Um, e5, taking the center, always good. I go c4 here. Now it's an English opening, and these moves will still get played. Everything's fairly normal. Knight f6, not so sure about this move. I mean, I guess it's a good developing move, but if the knight blocks black's f-pawn, then the only other pawn break is going to be here in the center. But it's not going to be really that easy because I have c4 pawn. So I thought black's setup would go pawn here and pawn to f5, but I guess knight f6 is fine, knight c3. This move also a bit of a question mark in my mind. I think he wanted to play d5, so I went ahead and developed normally. If he played d5, which I think he should have played here, I was prepared to either just make a move like e3, continuing with the cheekiness, or just exchange if d5 takes and play on this open c file. Bishop here, so it's kind of like a Roy Lopez for black backwards, but I don't know if black has time for this. I think his king is going to get trapped in the center if he doesn't. If he castles early, then he's not developing these pieces, and if he develops those pieces, his king will be in the middle. So it's a bit uncomfortable for black here. I think better might have just been bishop e7 and castles, but this is fine. e5. So here I wanted to go with this exact plan. I wanted to go bishop, I wanted to go pawn here, knight here, fianchetto this, castle behind that, and f4. That was my big pawn break. I'm going to set up for a big juicy f4, and this bishop on the diagonal will be very weak, and if he ever takes on f4, I might be able to push e5 and continue from there. And it just seems like this was the structure I wanted to go with. So he retreats, getting ready for d5 or d6 again. And here, I figure, you know what? His pieces are in a bottle. His pieces are at home, and I think if I'm ever going to open the position, I should do it now. Because I'm playing white, it's really my job to go for the initiative and not just sit back and let black do everything they want. I have to give him some questions to answer. So here's the first one. If he doesn't take, I'm pushing for sure, and then a huge center for white. So he does correctly take. Queen takes. One thing to note is whenever you get your queen in the center square, particularly d4, you have to watch out for these moves like knight to c6. However, because there's a pawn on c6 now, that's impossible. So my queen feels very, very comfortable here. If he does a move like bishop to b6 attacking the queen, well, I can always move with check, I can always go back, or even maybe I could counterattack back at his bishop. Probably not there, but it would allow a bishop c4. So it's very comfortable for white, very comfortable. Castles, bishop here. I feel like this pawn is going to come under pressure in the near future, and I just want to have it defended ahead of time. Now, if bishop b6, I probably have to move my queen. It does come under pressure, develop my pieces, I still need to castle. Bishop goes out to a5, moving the same piece twice and not developing his queen side. These pieces are still in a box, whereas I have a big, open, robust center. His knight is pinned, but it's defended twice, so there's no threat. He's not threatening this pawn either. But I castle, get out of the pin, no problem. Knight comes out to the only square it can move to. I expect he's going here to attack my bishop. However, here I can get a good tempo on his knight. His knight does not have a good square to go to. And I can take on h7 in some lines. I can very easily increase pressure on h7. So with these moves, I have a pretty simple, direct plan to attack Black's king, while his pieces are over here. c5. Kicking my queen. If I take the knight, he takes my queen. There's nothing there, so I must move. But I kind of wanted to move my queen anyway, so this really helps me out. And the positional implications are that I will have the d5 square for my pieces later. If he defends this kingside attack, well, this is just a hole in his position now. Very comfortable at this point. However, kicking my queen affords queen to h4, and now I'm getting some pressure on his weak h7 pawn, the only defender of which is this knight that is being attacked already. So now he's got a problem. If he moves the knight, say... Actually, he can't even move the knight. It's kind of trapped there. But let's say he just moves it here. Then we're going to have queen takes, and big trouble. Big trouble for Black's king. The game would be over. So he attacks the bishop as a method of counterattack. If I take the knight, he takes the bishop, I take the pawn, queens get traded, and nothing's really happening there. But I'll just preserve the bishop, no problem. So he attacks my bishop again. He really does not want to lose on h7, and I understand that. So I just trade. He takes the pawn in the center. I take this pawn. He attacks my bishop away, and I centralize it. In retrospect, I think probably bishop here, just going back to where I was, might have been a better choice. Because here allows him to take and take and take and win a pawn. But it's a piece up. It's a clean bishop up. So he doesn't take it. He attacks this bishop. He likes throwing these knight. This knight has gone on a journey here, attacking all my bishops. But I preserved that one. Hanging this knight. But I saw something a little special here. I noticed this is attacked, and I can go rook here. I wanted to keep my bishop pair. These pieces are all attacked. In fact, how am I going to save both? If I defend my bishop, he'll just take it and then take the knight. So this is a little bit uncomfortable now. Black is getting some good counterplay with this knight. Save the bishop, he takes, attacking his knight, and let's say the knight moves to this square. Then I will have bishop f7, check, and winning the queen. That was my idea. I see now that he didn't have to play into that at all. And it was kind of just a dream. But here, he captures my strong central bishop. I take the knight, queens get traded. Now he's got two pieces attacked, and this is fine. He got his piece back, but his pieces are all attacked now. He saves the knight, I capture the bishop, and, well, there's a fork there too. So knight here was very annoying and threatens this check. Here, and I take a pawn. So the body count here is I'm down the exchange for one pawn. But I really like these pawn structure here. My knight's a bit out of play. He's going to need to come back. And I need to get a rook in the game to either c1 or d1 to activate my final pieces and get some coordination going. Here, I think he could have just taken this pawn now and get on with things. If I go here to attack his knight, I'll win this pawn, but I'm winning this pawn anyway. because the bishop is on it. So pushing his pawn in the center, I'm not sure what the point was exactly. Maybe he didn't want my knight to reroute here to f3, but I can always reroute my knight via f5 to some other squares. So that was a little confusing to me. I take this pawn on the side here, attacks the bishop, counterattack his knight, and he still doesn't want this, whoops, excuse me, doesn't want this free pawn. Instead, he attacks the bishop. Pawn is still hanging, I suppose. Save my bishop, and he finally takes it. Now I have two connected passed pawns. That looks very powerful. However, the rest of my pieces are kind of out of play. Knight f5, as mentioned, trying to reactivate toward the center. And he attacks my backward pawn. And as it stands, there's not a great way to defend this pawn. I could play rook b1, but I just didn't feel like it's playing to win. It just feels like it's playing not to lose. So, if he takes my pawn, he's got a back rank issue. He makes space. I come in with check, and I say, you know what? You can have this pawn. I'm gonna go all in on the c pawn. It is further advanced anyway. Here again, if rook b1, I think maybe just knight c3 attacking the rook, and the next move will be rook takes on b3, and I'm just losing everything. I've got no real chance for counterplay. His king is a little bit stuffy back there, but it's safe. So push the c pawn, push the c pawn. He gets behind the c pawn. I realize I might have a back rank issue soon enough, so I go ahead and make some space. Here he might have even been able to play moves like rook d3, just basically teasing the back rank issue, and that might have been a bit awkward for me. But I make some space. We have symmetrical king sides, very interesting, with the knights too. And he doubles behind my pawn. Now I'm pretty sure black is winning here. Black has to be winning here. Black is up the exchange, and it's a clean exchange. There's no pawns for it. In fact, black is up a pawn. No, I'm sorry. Just the exchange. Just the exchange. My bishop is very solid. My knight is well placed. I have a passed pawn. But despite all of that, he should be okay. Here I need to kind of get some room to breathe, and I can't advance my pawn. Not yet. Knight goes back down. Now here we were running pretty low on time, so it kind of turned into a scramble. Just make moves. Good moves that don't lose. Do what you can. So knight goes back. I move my king out of the way. You know, if these pieces get traded, I'm going to want to have my king in the center to support the fight. Now knight comes up here to d3. Kind of feel like his knight's just moving around randomly. It seems a bit aimless, really. It does block off my rook, and I thought maybe he's going to go attack the pawn that way. But bishop to b6 supports a c7 pawn advance, which will then be ready to go to c8 supported by the knight. So the pawn has its red carpet laid out before it. Here I think it might just be best to get ready to sack an exchange back to get the pawn and the knight, and then play on his advanced pawn in the center. This is a 4-on-3 pawn majority, so at some point he's probably best to just start taking the pawn. I'll take his rook and he'll take my piece, and we'll have some kind of endgame like that. That's probably a draw, but black will still be slightly better. So knight goes here as expected, attacking my pawn. Only one thing to do now, push it. And he goes knight there. Now I think now it's probably best to just take it. Rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. In that position, my knight would be attacked. His rook would be here, covering his second rank. His knight is active, his pawn is advanced, and I have to move this, probably like this, to blockade, and black is fine there. But here he attacks it, I queen, now he takes it, letting me preserve my bishop. And after this move, I'm threatening to do a discovery on his knight, perhaps. My king has a lot of breathing room. Moves the knight. Attack 2 pieces. Defends 1. And again, we were in a bit of time trouble here. We did not have much time left on the clock. Gives up the knight. And yeah, you gotta be careful. If you make a random 1-second move, you're gonna lose your rook. So here, we trade rooks off. And it's just a bishop up. Now, if we trade all the pawns, it's a draw. So I need to be a little bit careful. I try to avoid trading pawns if possible. And here, with this exact structure, these squares are all covered by my pieces and my pawns. So if his king wanted to help in the game, it would have to go all the way around like this. But my king has the same exact plan. He can't move any of his pawns. This pawn is hanging too. So this is easily winning. Take that one. Here I could take this one too, but I didn't like the idea of him getting his king here, because then that might be a real draw. So anyways, just block it up. All of these squares are covered. He can't move a pawn. So here I simply bring my king all the way around. And this is where he resigned. But my next moves was going to be take this, take that, and just charge the pawns. Charge 3 queens should be enough to win. I think the key moments in this game were certainly here when I kicked his knight. His knight really doesn't have anywhere to go, and that's because of the placement of his forces here on the back row and the fact that he has no center control. Here he's losing a piece for sure. I think I should have probably played bishop here to e4 instead of where I put it, but this is okay too. Now this is kind of, yeah. See, it just feels right. Bishop e4 would have stopped these shenanigans with the knight, but okay. Here he gets his piece back, some trades, loses his piece back, forked, and takes. And another key moment here, I think he needs to either go for the file or just start taking pawns as fast as possible. But pawn push, I think every tempo matters so much in these positions. Check, c pawn, and then I think the last key moment was here. He probably should have taken to eliminate my bishop. The bishop was so powerful in the open board, but he does it in such a way where I keep the bishop and lose the knight, which suits me a lot better in this wide open position. Of course, that's a key moment, hanging his knight for no reason. And the rest is just kind of a formality. There's no draw here. Anyways, this was a 4-2 Blitz game I played with a friend of mine. Not rated, just for fun. And maybe you learned something about the center or the open positions, or how to not get your pieces forked and taken. Either way, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.